Welcome to The Wired Right. We're doing a deep dive today into something that's, well, it's become absolutely essential for so many of us, getting the electrical setup right for a home office.
Mm.
This deep dive is built on source material provided by Copperfield Electric, and our mission is really to cut through the noise and pull out exactly what you need to know from these sources,
Right.
to make your workspace safe, efficient, and truly reliable.
That's right. I mean, so many people work from home now, right?
Right.
But the reality is, most folks just plug things in without a second thought.
Yeah, just find an open socket.
Exactly, without thinking about whether their current electrical system can handle it safely. So this material offers some really crucial guidance.
And that lack of thought, as the experts point out, well, it can create real problems. So
Mhm.
let's dig into why electrical planning for your home office isn't just optional, but pretty essential.
Okay, so what's critical here, based on this information, is recognizing that it's about more than just having enough places to plug things in. A proper electrical plan is sort of your first line of defense against serious issues like power surges, system overloads, and potentially even fires.
Wow, okay.
And beyond safety, it just makes your workspace function better. More organized, less clutter, and dependable power for all your gear.
Okay, that makes sense. Safety is paramount, obviously.
Hmm.
So where do you even begin? Because my first instinct might just be, grab another power strip if I need more outlets.
And that's exactly the pitfall the experts caution against as a long-term fix anyway.
Uh-huh.
The absolute first step this material emphasizes is assessing your actual equipment and its power needs. Think about everything you use.
Like list it all out.
Yeah, your computer, monitors, maybe a printer, phone chargers, your modem, desk lamps, speakers. Literally make a list.
Because not all devices are created equal in how much juice they pull, right?
Exactly right. Some are constant draws, others have peak needs. And this is especially important when you think about the common challenges in, say, older homes.
Older homes. Yeah, they definitely weren't designed for the kind of power demands we have with modern tech setups.
Precisely. Older homes often have fewer outlets, and sometimes the wiring itself might not be rated for today's loads.
Hmm.
This is where people tend to rely really heavily on extension cords and those basic power strips, maybe even plugging one into another.
Oh, daisy chaining them?
Yeah, which is one of the most common causes of overloading a circuit.
And overloading leads to tripping breakers, doesn't it? That blinking clock on the microwave is like the classic sign.
It really is. The material clearly flags tripping breakers or flickering lights as major red flags.
Okay.
These are strong indicators that your current wiring or maybe the overall system just isn't handling the load and likely needs a professional assessment or, maybe an upgrade.
So if relying on a bunch of power strips and potentially old outlets is risky, what's the solution this information points to for getting stable power?
The standout recommendation is installing a dedicated circuit specifically for your home office.
A dedicated circuit, like its own separate line.
Sort of, yeah. Think of it like its own clean power line running directly from the electrical panel just for your office stuff.
And what's the benefit of having that dedicated line? Why is that better?
Well, it ensures your sensitive office equipment gets steady, reliable power. It doesn't have to compete with or get affected by other appliances kicking on elsewhere in the house.
Like the microwave we just mentioned, or someone running a vacuum cleaner.
Exactly, or a hairdryer, anything like that. It provides a much more stable electrical environment for your gear.
That sounds really important, especially for expensive electronics. Okay, speaking of protecting equipment, what about power surges? I hear about those.
Yeah, power surges are a very real threat. They can potentially fry electronics instantly.
Ouch.
So the experts strongly stress using surge protectors, not just standard power strips. And there's a key difference here.
What is it?
A surge protector actually has components inside designed to absorb or divert dangerous spikes in voltage, protecting your devices. A basic power strip, it just gives you more outlets. It offers zero protection against surges.
Got it. Okay, so look for surge protector, not just power strip. And there was a specific warning, kind of an alarming one, about power strips in the material, wasn't there?
Yes, a really crucial one. Absolutely avoid plugging one tower strip into another.
The daisy chaining thing again.
Yeah, that practice significantly increases the risk of overheating, short circuits, and potentially fires. It's a major safety hazard, seriously.
Yikes. Okay. That's definitely something for people to check in their own setup right now if they've maybe done that without thinking. All right, so beyond safety, what about efficiency? Does this material touch on that?
It does. Building a smart setup also includes energy efficiency. The material suggests some simple steps, like choosing LED desk lamps.
Right, they use less power.
Way less power, and they produce less heat than older bulbs.
Hmm.
Also, consider using smart power
What
strips.
do those do?
They can actually cut power completely to devices when they're not in active use, which saves energy and reduces that kind of ghost power draw.
Hmm, interesting. Sometimes, though, the issue might be bigger than just adding a circuit or changing out some outlets, right? What if the house itself, the whole system, can't handle the total load?
That's a really good point, and that's where the possibility of needing an electrical panel upgrade comes in.
The main breaker box.
Exactly. The material notes that adding dedicated circuits and just handling all the power demands of a modern home might require updating the main electrical panel, especially in older homes. A professional electrician can assess if your current panel has the capacity.
Okay. And just thinking practically about, setting up the actual space.
Yeah.
Any tips there?
Yeah, a simple one that pays off hugely.
Hmm?
Plan your device placement before you start any electrical work.
So know where the desk goes, where the printer goes.
Right. Knowing exactly where you need outlets avoids those tangled messes of wires snaking across the floor. And it means you won't have to completely rearrange your workspace later just to plug something in.
All right. This all sounds like work that definitely goes beyond, say, changing a light bulb. Can the average person do these kinds of upgrades themselves?
The information we reviewed is very clear on this. For significant electrical work, absolutely hire a licensed electrician. It's really not a DIY area for most people.
And what makes hiring a licensed pro so non-negotiable for this kind of work?
Well, licensed electricians have the proper training, the expertise, and crucially, they understand the local electrical codes required to do the job safely and correctly.
Right, the codes.
Yeah. They know how to assess your needs accurately, they use the right safe materials, and they ensure your system can actually handle the demands without creating hazards down the line. It's an investment in safety and, frankly, peace of mind. And as the material points out, professional work can even be important for things like home insurance or resale value.
That makes sense. So that long, maybe slightly frayed extension cord you've been using to reach your monitor for the past year, probably time to rethink that situation.
Definitely. The experts reiterate that while extension cords are okay for, temporary use, maybe for a few hours.
Like for holiday lights or something.
Exactly. But they are not designed or safe for permanent daily use, especially under the continuous load from office equipment. A professional can install outlets precisely where you need them, which eliminates the need for those long, potentially hazardous cords altogether.
Okay, that makes total sense. All right, we've unpacked quite a lot from this source material. Let's try and consolidate this into the key takeaways for you listening.
Sure. Based on this information, here are the core points to remember for your home office electrical setup. First, truly understand the power needs of all your equipment. Don't guess.
Make the list.
Make the list. Second, avoid overloading outlets, especially by daisy-chaining power strips or relying on too many extension cords long-term. Third, use genuine surge protectors, not just power strips, to safeguard your valuable devices. Fourth, strongly consider getting a dedicated circuit installed for stable, clean power to your office. Fifth, be prepared to upgrade old wiring or maybe even your main electrical panel if your system shows signs of strain or if you're adding significant new equipment. Sixth, incorporate energy-efficient devices where you can LEDs, smart strips, things like that.
Good for the bull, too.
Right. Seventh, and maybe most importantly, always hire a licensed electrician for any significant electrical work. Don't try to DIY major electrical stuff. And finally, plan your setup not just for today, but think ahead about future device needs.
So what does this all mean for you maybe sitting in your home office right now listening to this?
Well, taking these steps really transforms your workspace. It means fewer frustrating interruptions from tripped breakers. It means protection for your expensive computer and monitors from damaging surges. And ultimately, it means a safer, more productive, and frankly, less stressful work environment.
So armed with this knowledge from the source material, you're in a much better position now to evaluate your own setup.
Exactly. You can look at your outlets, look at your power strips, maybe even glance at your breaker box with a new perspective. You can consider whether you might need to add some outlets, maybe update your panel, or just simply invest in better surge protection based on these expert recommendations.
Now, this valuable information we've been digging into today comes courtesy of Copperfield Electric.
That's right. The material, including insights from the owner, Rene Hernandez, who's an experienced electrician himself, provided the foundation for our discussion today.
According to the information shared, Copperfield Electric is a family-owned business, and they're focused on providing top-quality electrical services. They also highlight being available 24 hours a day.
Which is definitely reassuring if an unexpected electrical issue pops up, right?
Absolutely. They serve Orange County and much of Southern California. The source specifically mentions areas like Irvine, Anaheim, Santa Ana, Costa Mesa, Newport Beach, Laguna Beach, Mission Viejo, and the surrounding communities too.
And the sources emphasize their credentials. They are licensed. The license number is hashtag 1094740. They're bonded and insured. Plus, their electricians are background checked.
Okay, good to know.
Their commitment seems to be to safety, customer satisfaction, and providing fast, reliable, affordable service. They mention a 100% satisfaction guarantee and competitive pricing.
So it's clear their focus is on professional, safe, and trustworthy electrical work based on this material.
Seems that way.
So thinking about everything we've discussed regarding building a safe and efficient home office electrical setup, and importantly, planning for growth. Here's a final thought for you to consider. How might the devices we only plan to add in the future, maybe that second monitor, or a bigger printer, or new gadgets, how might those change the electrical needs of our workspace right now, and what can we maybe do today to prepare for that?
That's a great question. It really encourages that foresight, doesn't it? Understanding the fundamental electrical needs of a modern home office, drawing from expert sources like this material from Copperfield Electric, is absolutely essential. It's not just about keeping the lights on and the computer running. It's really about long-term safety and productivity.